Hi, this is a continuation of a 3-video series on preparing for the Unit 5 test here in a course at Why I'm Missing using Python. Well, in section 3 here, short answer section, you're writing code segments. So you're allowed to use the given code segments that you just traced to perhaps help you get partial credit, if not full credit, in this section. So a for loop always has to be started with the word for. And I recommend that you use the control variable name I, even though you could be a rebel and put X there, or really anything. Please don't do that on the test. And what we've learned in this course is to use the in-range technique, the range function built into Python, with numbers perhaps in the parentheses. If you want something to loop iterate 3 times, just put a 3 in there. We've learned that. That works. You'll need a colon, by the way. Now, what is it that you want to happen exactly 3 times? Well, according to the first step of the programming process, we have to read that English phrase and understand it. Print the name of your high school. Well, there is a command called print, a function that you should know at this point in the school year. You should know that you should indent 2 or 3 spaces typically. Now, I'm not going to measure with a ruler when I grade the test, but it's got to be over here some amount. And print your name. Well, your school's name here where I'm sitting is Why I'm Missing. So there is perhaps Jasmine's answer. Moving on to the next question. Oh, I just realized a person would miss a point here because they need double quotes around Why I'm Missing for that word exactly to be printed out 3 times. Why I'm missing, why I'm missing, why I'm missing would be the theoretical output of that code. Now I'm finished. I needed double quotes. Number 2, a for loop, I in range, 10 down to 1, but if you're going down, you need a -1 or some negative here. If we're going down by 1s, if the pattern is 10, 9, 8, which is explained here in the wording, then you should put 10, 1, -1. You'll need the colon for full credit. Now, what do we print here? Is it printing something? Yeah, when I say display, I mean print. I don't always tell you to use the print function. You should just know that. But I gave it to you anyway, so print. Now, we're not printing the word Why I'm Missing this time. We're actually printing the number that's stored in the variable I as it steps down 10, 9, 8, 7. So we want to put the variable name I there without double quotes. What would happen, Cooper, if I put double quotes around the I? The letter I itself would print. We don't want that. We want 10, 9, 8, like a countdown thing. ... Excellent. There's a final answer for number 2. Number 3, another for loop. I want the numbers 5 to 13, so let's just keep it simple, stupid. The KISS principle. For I in range 5, 14. See, you had to know to go over 13. That's just the way Python works. If you want the 13, you need to do that. Now, this is a little tricky because I only want the numbers that are multiples of 3. I could do this. If I %3 double equals 0, that means that I is evenly divisible by 3. Only then indent it again further, print parentheses I like I did up here. That would be the long way of doing this, but it would get full credit. The easier way would have been to change the 514 to like 5, 14, 3. No. 6, 14, 3. That would then, without this extra if statement, just having print I, it would go 6, 9, 12, and stop, and that would meet the criteria. Continuing on, I was rushing there because the class period just ended, but I'm picking up again. So another alternate answer to that exercise on this practice test would be to simply have indented print parentheses I with 6 comma 14 comma 3, because that would end up causing the printout, and the printout would actually be on separate lines. Because of the way the print function works and there's no comma anywhere, 6, 9, 12 would print out based on this answer, which is what's being asked for here. The 5, starting at 5 is just a distraction. 6 is a number that's evenly divisible by 3. That's why it prints and not the 5 itself. Okay, moving on then to number 4 as I finish up this video, the last exercise here, and that is to use a while loop. Well, keep in mind that you're allowed to scroll up on the test at least and look to see this code where you traced a while loop, but I'm going to pretty much do this without that help. And I'm trying to erase here and it's not erasing. So give me a second and I'll come right back to the video shortly. Okay, I'm sorry about that, but I can't erase for some reason, so just ignore the green in exercise 4, and I'll put my answer in red. So after reading this paragraph closely, you know that you need a while loop, so let's start with a while loop. Unlike a for loop, there is no I being used in a while loop. We typically have a set of parentheses for good style, a colon, just like the colon up here, but something that simplifies to true or false. So I'm going to figure this out later, but I just know I need to put something in the parentheses. The rest of the code in the body of the while loop needs to be indented, but according to this wording, I need to add up a total. So I either create a variable named total, or perhaps sum to keep it consistent with worksheets and even exercises elsewhere on this worksheet. And I initialize sum to the value 0. And I'll need a variable that stores the number that the user inputs. So I'll just create num and set it equal to 0, 2. Now, according to this question, I only want the total of positive numbers. So if a number is greater than 0, that means it's positive. So using an if statement, which is the right tool for the job, I'm going to need an if statement. And if I scrolled up to show you that other code, you'll see we've already studied this. I put the if statement indented inside the while loop. So we're kind of building up the pseudocode, step 2 of the programming process, little by little putting blanks in here. I know I need the if inside the while loop, but what else is part of the wording here? Use counter statements, accumulator state, sentinel values, I learned about that. Flag variables, I learned about that. So if the variable num is greater than 0, then I do want the accumulator statement, sum plus equals num. Because whatever number they just typed in gets added into the running total sum, and that's the whole purpose of this algorithm. If the variable num is positive, meaning if it's greater than 0, then add it in. This is an if-then proposition. Okay, so I'm not quite finished yet. Where do they input the number? Oh, I need to use the input command function that's built into Python, like we've studied. Now, it would be nice to tell the person what he or she should do. It didn't really say up here that you had to do that. So it would be nice in a set of double quotes to say, please input a positive number. But I'm going to do the minimal, and I'm not even going to do that to show on a test. Mr. Minnick usually gives full credit for minimal answers that just do the minimum necessary on a test. If this is a project that you have 2 weeks to do, or certainly a competition project, or something for the real world where you're trying to sell an app, you better make it nice. But right now, I just want to get it done in the time that I'm given on this test. So the input command, by the way, I would have to use the int function to change the text to an integer. I don't want to go over that right now, but that's complicated. And because indentation is strict in Python, Num, I have to write it in very small font here, num equals. Now you'll be using a pencil on my test, and you can erase things and make it neat. Or just write a little note to me that you meant to put things at the same level of indentation. But I do have to hold that to you as far as full credit goes, so that I know that this is indented inside here, and that this S is indented one level of indentation here. Okay, I think we're finished except for this blank. While num is either not equal to -1, or just while num is greater than 0, because we're telling the user that as soon as, until they input the number 0, I didn't read it closely. So while num, let me erase this carefully because that would have been technically wrong. While num not equal to 0, that's when this is true, and we would indeed go through the body of the loop. But that not equal to symbol is not allowed in Python. And I, at this moment, forget what the not equal to symbol is. And I'm the teacher of this class. And nobody's probably watching this video because it's already past the 10-minute mark. So I'm going to leave that blank. And the first person that politely, respectfully emails me that he or she noticed that I didn't know something in a polite way, please send me that email. And I will ask you maybe to kindly add a YouTube comment to this video that addresses this issue. Aleko, I really do know the answer, but they don't know that I really know it, and they're going to be dying to be the first person that possibly gets extra credit and gets my attention for watching this long. Oh, Mo, we're still recording. Oh, whoops.